Hello, everybody. I am Richard Lyons, and I am the Massachusetts organizer for Bernie 2020, and I have never been so proud to tell people where I work and to announce my title. And this is an amazing experience for me, and this is an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. So 2 years ago, I told my students, I had been a teacher in Cambridge, Mass. for 22 years, that I was leaving to work for Bernie Sanders, and that I would do my very best to honor them by helping to implement policies that would eliminate childhood poverty, because in the school where I work, up to 80% of the students I taught were living in poverty in conditions that should never happen in America. So I said I was leaving to help, and I said I was leaving to work for Bernie Sanders, and they cheered, and they are really with us at the Martin Luther King School in Cambridge. Leaving my job was probably a very difficult moment. It was definitely one of the most difficult things I've ever done, but I have not regretted a second of it. Being part of this movement is just amazing, and having crowds like this everywhere we go is stellar, and I really appreciate this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Senator Sanders, I believe, will give my students a voice. I know Senator Sanders will implement policies that will help end childhood poverty. 1 in 5 American children are now living in poverty, and that is not acceptable. Senator Sanders will give the powerless a voice in this system, and my students will not be forgotten, as their voices will finally be heard when we elect Senator Sanders as this country's next president. Together, let's make our voices heard, and let's make the voices of the powerless heard. Together, let's get out and volunteer to knock on doors for Senator Sanders, as children need us to step up on their behalf. Together, let's inspire everyone in our sphere of influence so we can create a system that works for all people and not just the powerful few. Please make those calls. Get out the vote. Please, please, please knock on doors and do all you can to make sure Senator Sanders is our next president. And please make sure the voices of the children who are forced to live in poverty resonate and reverberate in the halls of Congress. This is our chance to change the course of history, and I am certainly honored and privileged today to be able to introduce the man who can do just that, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Microphone. Did you hear me?
All right, this is better. There you go. Let me thank Rich for those remarks, and to tell Rich that we will not forget his kids. We will not forget education. We will not forget teachers in this country. We're going to change our national priorities. And before I go further, let me introduce you to the next First Lady of the United States of America, Jane Sanders. Now, I wanted to say a word about why what you are doing is so important. The reason we won the popular vote in Iowa by 6,000 votes, and we won the realignment vote there by 2,500 votes, was not because of our TV ads or radio ads. And the reason I think we're going to do very, very well here in New Hampshire is not because of our commercials on television. It is because of you. It is because of the kind of grassroots movement that we put together in Iowa, we have here in New Hampshire, and you should know that is going on all over America right now. Now, here in New Hampshire, I am told by our campaign director, listen to this, that on Saturday, one day, we knocked our people, you, knocked on 20% of the doors in the state of New Hampshire in one day. And that's how we win elections. When neighbors talk to neighbors, when we get on the telephone, when we do social media, when we interact with each other. And the other reason we are going to win this campaign is the kind of strong financial support we have from the working families of this country. I am enormously proud to tell you that you are part of a campaign that has received more campaign contributions from more people than any campaign in the history of the United States of America. Our average campaign contribution is somewhere around $18.50. But that comes from 1.5 million people. So one of the things that differentiates our campaign from other campaigns, my friend Mr. Buttigieg and my friend Joe Biden, they have dozens and dozens of billionaires contributing to their campaign. I think in both cases, they have more than 40 billionaires contributing. We don't have any billionaires. And there are some people who say, it doesn't matter. A dollar is a dollar, so you get a dollar from a working class person who kicks in $20, or you have a super PAC where billionaires pour in a whole lot of money. It doesn't matter. A dollar is a dollar. That's wrong. Because you know and I know, and conservatives know and progressives know, and Republicans know and Democrats know, that the fundamental problem in this country is the power that the billionaire class has over the economic and political life of this country. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, where Donald Trump's friends have made out like bandits over the last 3 years, well, actually many of them are bandits. But we have seen billionaires in this country, billionaires see their wealth increase in the last 3 years by over $800 billion. How's that? Meanwhile, the average worker last year saw less than a 1% increase in his or her wages. So don't tell me that contributions from billionaires don't matter. They shape the legislative agenda of what goes on in Washington. Our job is to take on the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry. We don't receive campaign contributions from the CEOs of drug companies. Our job is to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency. We don't take campaign contributions from fossil fuel financiers. Our job is to break up the large banks on Wall Street. We don't take campaign contributions from the CEOs on Wall Street. So what this campaign is about, and what you are about, is creating a people's movement, a multiracial, multi-generational movement of working people. People who are prepared to stand up and say loudly that we are going to end the obscene level of income and wealth inequality in America. We are going to end the absurdity of a corrupt political system in which billionaires are buying elections. We are going to end the absurdity of half of our people living paycheck to paycheck, where people in Vermont and New Hampshire are working 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table for their kids. We are going to end the absurdity of the United States of America being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. We are going to end the absurdity of hundreds of thousands of bright young people not able to afford to go to college, and millions leaving school deeply in debt. We're going to cancel all student debt in this country through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. We are going to end the absurdity of major corporations like Amazon, owned by the wealthiest person in America last year, not paying a nickel in federal income taxes. Under our administration, yes, the rich and the powerful will start paying their fair share of taxes. And we are going to lead the world in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel, because the future of the planet depends upon us doing that. So, my friends, I mean, we were supposed to be inside, but so many of you came out that here we are. And I just want to really thank you. I want to thank you. No, thank you. It's us. It really is. It's us, not me. We're in this thing together. And what us, not me means, it means that we are in this together, that every family in America has its problems, and we have got to stand together. And we also have to stand together because you know and I know that real change never takes place from the top on down, always the bottom on up. It's when millions of people stand up. That's the history of the labor movement, And by the way, we've got a proposal in that will double trade union membership in this country in the next 4 years. That is the history of the civil rights movement, millions of people standing up in the fight against racism. It's the history of the women's movement. It's the history of the gay rights movement. It's the history of the environmental movement. And brothers and sisters, we are making history in this campaign. So what this campaign is about millions of people. And I want you to know, as I said a moment ago, you're here in New Hampshire, folks who are doing a great job in Iowa. People right now are out in California, they're in Nevada, they're in South Carolina. Great people knocking on doors, doing all the things we need to win. And at the end of the day, what all of this is about is that the American people finally want an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors and the 1%. So tomorrow is the first primary. It is enormously important. And I am confident that with your help going out, knocking on doors, and doing all of the things I know you're going to do, we're going to win here in New Hampshire tomorrow. So thank you all so much.